Hey y'all, welcome back. I know you probably heard me behind the scenes taking some notes and scribbling a few things down because I had prepared what I wanted to talk to you about today. And then I started getting some fresh ideas. So I'm like, okay, let me write this down so I don't forget this and I don't want to forget this. So today I want to talk about getting your brand ready for 2024. So, welcome back. Those of you who watch live, those of you who watch the replays, welcome back. I hope you had a beautiful Thanksgiving. I certainly did. I probably ate way too much, but I do every year, and I expect to do that every year. But now we're getting ready to roll into 2024. And today, we have the time. Today is November the 30th. So, we have time to get ourselves prepared for the next year. Now, one of the things that always concern me a little bit is that some people wait until they get in the new year to start getting ready for the new year. And honestly, this is just my honest opinion, but it's no judgment, no shade to anybody. But I think that my belief is if you're already in 2024, that's too late. And so now is the time to really start getting your momentum for 2024. So what a lot of people normally do in our space, in the coaching consulting space, what a lot of people do is they slow down during this time, which is totally okay. But a lot of people slow down. And you'll see that while some people are slowing down, some of us know that people are slowing down, right? So some of us are kicking things up a notch. And so one of the things that is really this is a really great time to focus on now. Everybody who knows me knows that this is my favorite time of the year. And, I like to watch Christmas movies and I like to bake for my family. I like to bake cookies and brownies and all kinds of things for my family. And I like to relax and I like to make soups and things like that. As a matter of fact, I got some chicken chili. Hey, Renee. I've got some chicken chili on the stove right now. So this is my time for my soups and all of those fun things. But also, this is a time of focus for me because what I'm really working on right now is really tuning into what God is doing in my life and in my business and for my clients and the direction that I need to be going. And so, this is the perfect time to do that. You've got a whole month left in this year to really start getting yourself ready to take off in 2024. And even you even have time to stir up some momentum going into the new year. Like some people, they wait and they wait until it's the new year and now they want to start doing things. Start your momentum now. Start putting things in place right now. So when that new year begins, you're ready to start off strong. And so I know that a lot of people don't really think about it like this, but we all know that listen, we all have a limited time on this earth. And we really have to understand that, you know, at some point, all of us, our time is going to be up. And so I really have been thinking about that scripture when David said, teach me to number my days, right? Teach me how to be wise with my time. Teach me how to manage my time. Teach me how to live a purposeful life. Teach me how to live a fulfilling life. Teach me how to be wise with the time that I've got left. And so that's why I say start now so that when that new year begins, you've got a fresh mindset. You got a fresh perspective on your life and on your business and on your purpose. And you're ready to rock and roll. You're ready to dream with God. So let's talk about some of the things that can help you to start getting yourself ready. Now, every year I do a planning session with my clients where I get with them and I help them to map out their 2024, what launches they're doing, when are they launching, what products are they going to be selling, what are they doing in January, February, March, April, May. So we have that whole thing mapped out. And of course, it's a great way to be able to pivot. When you have your plan laid out, you can easily move the pieces around, right? Because if you got what you're doing in March already laid out. And then let's say something happens in January, you're like, oh my goodness, this is going to affect my March, the thing that I was doing in March. You can move the March thing to June, right? But what some people do is they start the year off and they have no plan at all. They don't have a plan of action for what they're launching, what business goals they're going to tackle and accomplish. They're just out there just going with the wind. And that's not good for business. So going into the new year and taking these last 4 weeks to really focus and really plan. I'm going to give you a few things to think about as you start to prepare. Right, this is what a CEO does. Right, as a CEO, as a business owner, you have to plan. It's so interesting how, and I'm not talking about you guys, but y'all know the type of people that I'm talking about. They'll plan. They'll take 2 hours out. They'll plan a party, but or they'll plan a trip, but won't take time to plan out what's happening with their business. And so what that does is it forces you to struggle because now you're like, okay, well, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how I'm going to make money. You don't have a plan at all. So some things to think about going into 2024. And number one is think about the mistakes that you made this year, and not just in the terms of, oh, I failed at this, or I failed at that, but think about the mistakes that you made this year and how they have impacted you. Now, sometimes mistakes can be good for us, but many times mistakes negatively impact us, and then we find ourselves holding back on certain things. We find ourselves afraid to try new things. For example, a few years ago, I'll tell you something that happened to me that held me back for a long time. I had hired someone, and she was working on lead generation, and we talked, we communicated and everything, and she was good to go. And so instead of her generating leads the way that we agreed and the way that we talked about and the way that she, understood how to do that, that is not what she did. So she basically found a whole bunch of people online, a whole bunch of coaches on Facebook, threw them all into a mass messaging group, and then posted my flyer for my upcoming workshop. I I was devastated because I'm like, that is the exact opposite of what we talked about. And you guys, rightfully so. Some people who were in the group were so upset. They were like, "What are you doing? Like this can't be real. Like you got to be kidding me, right?" Y'all, like, oh my goodness, I was so like, I let her go immediately. And but that thing like really, it really kind of messed me up because I'm like, listen, I don't want to work with anybody else. I don't want to have to go through that again. But luckily, you guys, what some of y'all may have heard this story before, but luckily there was a person in there, and she was a believer. And she sent me a message, and she said, "Hey," and she, told me the person's name. She's like, "I know this, she's most likely your assistant, but this is what she did. She sent me screenshots and everything." And she said, "I looked at your brand. I looked at your social media and all that, and I'm just getting a feel for your brand." And she said, "You don't seem like the kind of person who would run your business like that." So she said, so what happened was people started getting upset, and they were, saying things to her, rude things to her. And so she ended up deleting herself. Well, first she had to make somebody the man. Like when you create a Facebook group, you have to make somebody the administrator before you can remove yourself. So she just picked somebody and made them the administrator and left the group. Oh my, that made it even worse, y'all. So luckily, the person who she made the administrator was the person who reached out to me. So that lady reached out to me, and she deleted everybody from the group. And I'm so thankful. I was like, oh my goodness, like I'm hugging you through this screen. But you guys, that's a mistake that I made. It really held me back for a long time, because I was like, I had closed myself out. I was like, I'm not working with anybody. I'm not hiring anybody else. And that was a personal struggle. So think about the things that this year, the mistakes, the areas that okay, this is something that I really messed up on. But not to beat yourself up about it, but to release it, to let it go, so you can go into 2024 with a clear mind and clear focus, right? Sometimes we do stuff or we make mistakes, and we have to forgive ourselves. And we forget that, right? We always think about forgiving other people, but sometimes we got to forgive ourselves. The other thing I want you to think about is, what lessons did you learn this year that you're carrying into 2024? What lessons did you learn? Okay. What's something that you prayed about, or what's some revelation or a lesson that came out of something that you've done or something that somebody taught you? What lessons are you carrying with you into 2024? Okay. And also, number three, I want you to think about, what opportunities are you pursuing in 2024? What opportunities are you pursuing in 2024? This is important. So let me give you an example of why this is so important. So one of my clients, she just asked me, she said, "Well, do you think I should work on my website?" And I told her, I'm like, no, not right now, because you don't really need it when you're first getting started. You don't necessarily need a website. Now, I know that so many people, some of y'all are probably cringing because you're like, I need to get my website. But I actually had a client who we started working together, and she was already working on her website when we started working together. And then by the time we finished working together, she said to me, I wish I had waited to get this website. She said, I realize now that I didn't really need it. But had we started working together before she did, I would have told her, I said, I would have told her that you don't need that right now. So I'm always telling my clients, you don't necessarily need a website right now. Yes, eventually you will need one, but right now that website is not going to stop you from making money. So, and I usually listen. I have a friend, and I talk about this all all the time. I have a friend who she has a program. Her program is close to $20,000 a year, and I'm like, she doesn't even have a website for her clients to log into. And I was just so shocked. I'm like, girl, how do you not have a log? Like, how do you not have a membership area? But she's her people are paying $18,000 for her program, and they don't have a membership area. So so I told my client, I'm like, listen, I said, that's not something that you need right now. Of course, I'm never going to say just don't do it. But she asked me for my advice, my opinion, and I told her, I said, well, you don't necessarily need it right now. You could put that money into something else. Like one of my other clients said, she's like, I wish I had spent that money on something else instead of getting a website right now. So usually, I don't really recommend a website until you at least made your first six figures. And I know that's probably like contrary to what like a lot of people say and a lot of people think. Listen, there's so many ways to make sales. You can have sales page. You can have a sales page. You can have sign up landing pages for your email list. There's so many different ways. Not having a website, that's not going to stop you from building your list. It's not going to stop you from closing the sale. However, depending on what opportunities you're pursuing in 2024, then by all means, a website may be right for you. For example, that is one of the things that I'm working on this December. Like I build websites. I've always built my own websites. I've had designers. One time I was going to get someone to do it for me, and I reached out to her and I'm like, hey, how much is it? Can you give me a quote on building my website? Blah 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 blah. And she looked at my website. She's like, why do you want a new website? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm thinking because I did it, it wasn't good enough. She was like, your website is amazing. She was like, I wouldn't even want to redo it. She said, it's amazing. But because of my background and my skill in the IT field, and I do have a little bit of experience with coding as well. I wouldn't call myself a coder. I would just say I know enough. I know enough code to be able to do what I need to what I need to do. So I've always built my own websites. But however, for the last I don't know, maybe like 3 years, my website is a mess. Like and y'all, you guys know by now that I'm pretty transparent. So so I just put it all out there for you guys because I feel like that's transparency is so important. My website has been a mess for like the last 3 years. If you go to my website right now, you'll be like, girl, what is going on? It's a mess. It's not together. Because why? I haven't used it. I haven't used my website in years. However, remember we talked about how, this is the time to really start planning and really being the visionary, right? You've got to have the vision so that you can something to work towards, something to work toward. And your vision has got to be compelling, right? So I'm working out my vision for 2024. And a part of the opportunities that I'm pursuing in 2024, I'm going to need a website because there's a different level of when you're working on visibility and you're working with clients and closing sales and things like that. There's always like a next level. So now, based on where I'm going, I'm like, okay, now it's time for me to pull my website back together because of the opportunities that I'm seeking. Okay, so now I will say that now that's not for everybody, right? Everybody does not need to go out and spend $3,000 to $5,000, and sometimes even more than that on a website. They probably cost a lot more than that right now. But it's you have to think about where you're going and what's right for you. Okay. So for me, one of those things is my website. The other thing that I'm working on right now is my membership area so that when my clients log in, all the things that they have access to. I have so much stuff that I've created for my clients. Now I'm working on streamlining it and organizing it so that when they log in, they've got everything they need and they don't have to go and search and look for anything. So those are two things that I'm talking about. Like, okay, what do I need? Where am I going in 2024? And what can I start doing right now to prepare for that? You gotta get yourself in this forward thinking, prophetic thinking, and prophetic planning mindset. Because once you know where you're going, you can start to reverse engineer what you need to do to be able to get there. Okay. Number four, who do you want to collaborate in 2024? Who do you want to collaborate with? I'm always talking to my clients about collaborating with people, collaborating with each other. I'm always encouraging them, hey, collaborate with each other. What kind of events can you do together? What kind of live videos can you do together? What kind of what kind of if it's not a live video, what kind of podcast can you do? What kind of summits or events can you do together? Because collaboration gets you in front of more people, right? So if let's say if I bring Renee on the live video, Renee's going to get in front of my audience. And if she's sharing it with her audience, I'm going to get in front of her audience. It's a powerful way, you guys, to find your people. Okay. So who do you want to collaborate? You can collaborate with someone. Now, a lot of people don't like collaborating with people who they think are competition. I don't see anything wrong with that because I feel like who God has called me to is who God has called me to, and there's enough room for all of us to be successful. I cannot possibly serve everybody who needs help with messaging and branding. Like there's no way. There's no way. Even if I had the largest corporation in the world, I still couldn't serve everybody who needs help with that. And so I firmly believe that God is abundant, and I don't think God runs out of out of resources. And so collaborating with someone who you may see as a competitor, that's perfectly okay in my book, as long as you're not afraid or as long as you're not intimidated. Collaborating with someone who may see you as a competitor or you see them as a competitor could be a great way to grow your audience. And like I said, there's still enough room for everybody to be successful. So the other thing is, and this is one of the most important ones. Number five is how much income are you expecting, right? Because I've discovered that when you're growing, your level of expectation has to come up. And then when your level of expectation comes up, your execution has to come up as well. So if you're saying, okay, in 2024, I want to make six figures, you could actually do that if you took the right steps. You could do that in the first quarter of 2024. You can make six figures in the first quarter of 2024. So but if you say, okay, listen, I'm just trying to get six figures for the year. That's absolutely beautiful, and you can do that. So everybody is at different places, right? If you're just like, listen, I just want to make enough money to where I can just do these, take a couple of extra vacations, then maybe your goals may be different. And so you want to think about how much money are you making, right? Raise your expectation for your income, but then you got to raise up the actions that you're taking to achieve that. So what I see most people doing is they'll say, "Oh, I want to make $2 million next year." Okay, so what is your level of execution? If you're trying to make $2 million, but you're executing on a $200,000 level, you're gonna have a really hard time trying to make that money. So and so when I talk about execution, I'm talking about the things that you need to do to make it happen. One thing that you fully have to understand is you can reach any goal you want to as long as you're putting in the work. Okay. As long as you're putting in the work. And so what I found is that most of the time, especially with women, is we go through things and sometimes we let ourselves down and sometimes we haven't forgiven ourselves or we haven't healed from certain things. And because of that, we don't trust ourselves. And we think, okay, you know what? I want to make $100,000, but I don't know if I can really do it. Even if I'm here and I'm telling you, you can do it. I'm telling you, you can do this. If you don't believe it, you're not going to be able to do it, right? I'm telling you, I promise you, making $100,000 online is not hard. It is not hard, okay? You just got to do the work, okay? And then finally, I want to think about what are some of the tactics, what are some of the tasks or tactics that you need to do this month, well, in December, this last month of the year. What kind of things can you focus on during this last month? Yes, by all means, have fun, enjoy the holiday season. I'm enjoying the holiday season. As a matter of fact, a lot of times I'll turn on the fireplace and light up the Christmas tree and I'll sit there with my drink and I'm working out things. I'm planning out things. I'm taking notes. I'm I'm pulling things together. And that for me, that's enjoyable, right? Because this is the vision that God has given me, right? And so you really gotta um focus on what God has given you, right? And do the work that God has given you as unto the Lord, as unto Him. You're doing it unto Him. And so, what kind of things do you need to do before this year is out? So, one of the things that I told you about earlier is that I am redoing my website. I'm pulling my website together because of where I'm going in 2024. Another thing that I'm working on is my membership area for my clients. So when they log in, they don't have to dig for everything. I'm changing up everything from the colors to how things are structured and all of that. And I'm super excited about that. Another thing that I'm working on is a new free offer. So I have a lot of free offers, but I'm working on a brand new free offer. And it seems like a whole lot, you guys, but it's so exciting because I'm like, I'm getting ready for something, right? That anticipation of getting ready for something new, it keeps you excited in your business. If you're constantly growing and developing and reinventing, you're always going to stay excited and on the cutting edge. Okay. All right, you guys. So before Thanksgiving, I told you that I had some special opportunities coming out. You may have seen one of them already. So my special offer for Black Friday did go out. I do have some more offers. So if you missed that one, that's okay. I do have some more coming out. Just keep your eyes on your email. If you're not if you're not on my email list, just shoot me a quick message and let me know. Hey, Shanta, add me to your email list so that I can get all the emails. Because listen, I love creating things. I love giving those things that I know that you need. And usually when I make an offer, it's something that I know you're gonna need. When I'm creating things, I'm thinking about, okay, what does my audience need right now? So usually if I'm sending it out, it's most likely going to be something that you need. So keep your eyes open on that. And other than that, you're gonna see, just keep your eyes open, you guys. When I'm talking about, I always model what I talk about. So when I'm teaching my clients certain things, if they're saying, okay, well, where's an example where where I can see that at? Then I am the model. I'm the example. So when I'm talking about like working on new things, planning things, pulling things in place, y'all, this is such an exciting time because I believe that every single day, every week, every month, every year is God's way of giving us a fresh start, right? So when you wake up tomorrow, you can say, you know what? My Thursday didn't go how I wanted to, but you know what? I got another chance today. I got another chance to make Friday great. I feel like the new year is like that. You can say, you know what? My 2023 didn't go how I wanted to, but you know what? Now I've got 4 weeks to prepare to have my best year ever, right? My best year yet. And so take these last 4 weeks to really dig in and see what God is saying for you. What is God speaking to you? What does your next level look like? Okay. All right, you guys. So thank you so much for hanging out. And I will see y'all back here next Thursday, same time, same place. Have a beautiful Thursday and a great weekend. And as you already know, if you need anything from me, if you have any questions, feel free to email me at info@shantaprince.com, or you can just shoot me a quick message on Facebook or on LinkedIn. All right, you guys. Have a beautiful Thursday and a great weekend. And I'll see y'all next week.